Okay, gorgeous queen. This is module 3 in Conscious Creatrix. And this module is bringing and pulling all the details and bringing together the 5 steps into consciously creating and manifesting something. And it's creating a life that you love. This is what I really want you to plug into, is that from all of this, I want you to realize that we're creating it from love and not from necessity, not from need, not from scarcity. When we want to be in that structure of creation, that we want to create it because we just love to. We want to because we want to experience it. We want to feel all the feels, enjoy it, and do it because maybe we're passionate about it, or we have curiosity around it, or whatever that might be. So as we go into these 5 steps about how to consciously manifest and create this desired reality that you want to create out of love, I want you to remember that as the key to everything, because that will keep you in good stead. Even if you don't remember the 5 steps at the very beginning, I just want you to feel into, am I creating this from a place of love or from a place of something other than that? Necessity, scarcity, need, to solve a problem, to fix something. Okay, so I want to get I did a few drawings today just to help you because I didn't have time to do a screenshot for you. But we'll talk about this, and we'll do this more in on our live training call. So what I want to start off with is to get you to understand the 2 different mechanisms that are working within us all. And that is our conscious self and our unconscious self. And the reason that 99% of us cannot manifest the bigger things is because our identity gets in the way. So the first mechanism, which is our unconscious self, that is a protective mechanism. That is our survival pattern. So I want you to think about our unconscious self as everything that goes into automatic pilot. So it's about breathing, about our heart beating, it's about digesting food, it's about elimination, it's about sleeping and what goes on where, whenever we're resting. And it's also the things that when we practice them enough, we put them into automatic pilot, like driving a car, like riding a bike, like talking on the phone while we're driving, all of that kind of stuff. But it's also our behaviors and thoughts that also, if we repeat them enough, will go into automatic pilot. And the reason being is that, it frees up a lot of our brain. It creates those pathways that the brain goes, I know this. I don't even have to think about it. It's just, I go from A to B, that's it. It's done, dusted. Heart still beating, person still breathing, all good. But also on that level is that part of us that it's about survival. It's making sure that you're still breathing and making sure that your heart's still beating and making sure that you're going to survive the next experience. So plugged into those thoughts and feelings and beliefs is also that survival mechanism that comes from a belief system that was all about you surviving childhood. But we haven't changed any of those pathways. And this might be like you being in Thrive Academy might be the first time that you've ever even really thought about it. And there's millions of people who never will. And that's what I want you to understand, is that when we go up against somebody who isn't doing this work, who isn't aware of that they have different levels of consciousness going on in themselves, is that they are working from that unconscious self, the automatic pilot. And that's why they'll trigger us the same way they did when we were 5. And that's why they'll say things that get on our goat and go, why can't they change? Because they don't want to, they haven't thought about it, they don't understand how. And so that's what happens. I also want you to remember, as we move through the world and how we actually can get into that idea of not taking things so personally, is that if you were to just be okay with one thing today, I want you to really feel into the idea that everybody is working from their wounds. It's in that automatic pilot part of themselves. They're not even thinking about it. They're not even aware of it. And whatever they say, whatever they do, however they react, is coming from one of those wounded beliefs about being unworthy, about not belonging, about having to be perfect, about all of those things. They're usually acting from one wound, but they could be acting from five. And however they have created their reality, that is what they see. It's what they believe because it's what's running in their system without them even realizing. And also, that's how we've created our reality. And that's why we do this work. So we can actually see what it is, have that awareness, because like everything that we've done in Thrive Academy is that if you don't see it, if you're not aware of it, you cannot change it. Okay, so one of the things about being in that automatic pilot is that some of the things that we've created in that space is to move away from fear, to move away from being uncomfortable, and to move away from resistance. And what I really want you to like reframe right now is that resistance is good, because resistance, we understand what that feels like in our body. It might be like somebody standing on our chest, or it might be we get a bit of a cold sweat, or we start shallow breathing, or whatever it is. But it's our body signaling to us that something is happening that either we haven't done before, we're not sure about. Our brain is going, this is completely new, no idea what to do right now. And it's our signal to go, pay attention, because this could be something that could be really good if we change it. It could be really good if we step into being uncomfortable or being in that new space, rather than just going, okay, I feel resistance, let's move away from that. And we're going to go a little bit deeper into this today. So even though in our unconscious state, the experiences that we've had in our past, so whether that might be low bank account, whether that might be toxic relationships, whether that might be shitty bosses or bad family like relationships, whatever it might be, what I want you to also understand is that in that unconscious part of our brain is that if we survive that, our unconscious self has gone, that's okay. It's safe, because if you got through it alive and pretty much unscathed physically, then we're okay with that. That can happen again. We're quite happy to keep that going, that pattern, because we know it is okay. So it might just be tolerable. It might be completely and utterly intolerable, but our bodies will say, this is safe to repeat. And that's why we see ourselves in patterns in different relationships, in patterns in maybe our job or our work, in patterns in our money and our money mindset, is because we are in this space where our unconscious has created a ceiling and a floor. And in that space is going, in here, she's good. She's good to go. She's good to live in it, because we know that it's in that tolerance level of it's all okay. It's safe. And we understand it because we've done it before. It's in the past. We have the data. This is good. Ceiling, floor, anything in between here. So what happens then is that we then have our identity on top of that, and we have our own reactions to anything that happens outside of the ceiling and the floor. Because we understand we're wounded. We understand we're not enough in here. We understand we don't belong in here. We understand we're not capable in here. So anything in here, our identity goes, yeah, we're good, because that is my reality. I'm creating it because that's who I am. Again, if you have any questions, I want you to bring this to the live training, because I really want you to get this on all levels. This is totally unconscious. You did not create this on any way, shape, or form of awareness. This has been something that has happened, and as we've talked about before, has possibly been handed down. These decisions and these patterns and these beliefs, and even the ceiling and the floor, could have been handed down through the generations to you. And that's why we are in this space to like change it. Okay, so what I also want you to understand is that ceiling, floor is that anything that comes into your reality that does not fit in is higher than the ceiling or lower than the floor. And that doesn't mean that it's bad or that it's good or anything, but if it's new to your experience, and that might be more money, that might be better relationships, that might be working for yourself and having a business, that might be creating a better life. If they don't fit into your floor and ceiling, your unconscious is going to go figure out like, no, this does not fit in. How do we get back in here? And that's where we get the structure of when we go into trying to fix things, is that we get that pendulum swing. We get that idea of, I'm so far out of my comfort zone and my identity is like, this isn't safe, and we go back into safety zone. This is when we can actually go out the other side, below the floor, and go, holy shit, I've never been so broke, I've never had crappier relationships, and the identity goes, this is not safe either, and let's go back into the safe zone. So this is where we get that pendulum swing. We get the self-sabotage, because we've got this pattern now that creates cycles of, oh my God, we're outside. Oh, we're in safety. Oh my God, we're outside. Oh, we're back in. Because we're self-sabotaging ourselves back into the safety zone. That is the part of the protective mechanism, which is your unconscious. So then we have the second mechanism, which is our conscious awareness. This is us being aware. This is us being like understanding how the world works on a new level as a grown-up and as an adult. And this is where we want to thrive. This is where we want things that are better for us. This is where we want more abundance. This is where we want more success. This is where we want bigger businesses. This is where we want a better life for ourselves and our family. And obviously then that's where we get the conflict. That's where we get the cognitive dissonance. That's where we get things go out of alignment, because what our unconscious wants to protect us with, and what our conscious wants, our awareness and how we want to thrive, one's trying to keep us in survival mode, and the other part of us wants to thrive. So then we get this misalignment. We get the emotional misalignment from our identity that says, I don't fit in here, I don't belong here, I'm not capable of doing this, this is not good, and I feel very uncomfortable, and it's not safe. And this is where I want you to understand that it's not the goals that you're setting, it's not the systems or the practices. It's something deeper that we have to look at so that we can change them and we can create something new. So what happens when we want to create something big? So let's take 2 examples. Let's say that you've only started to manifest, and you started with creating like small free car parking spots, and you're like a dab hand at it, and you're like, this is so easy. And so you go, okay, I want to create a spot in front of Starbucks so that I don't have to walk in the rain. And you visualize it, and you see yourself like doing your happy dance in your car and stepping out and walking straight into Starbucks, and you're like, woohoo! And then you drive up to where the spot is, because you've taken action to go and look for the spot. You see the spot, you drive in, you go, woo, yes, I'm a fucking manifesting queen. And you're like, yes, I can manifest. And then you go for something bigger. And what happens, what the difference is when we want to create something bigger, when we want to create something that like feels magnificent, feels expansive, feels amazing and fulfilling to us is that our ego or our identity gets in the way because it's not interested in a parking spot. It's like, yep, that's okay. You work away because that has nothing to do. It's not going to try and kill me. It's not got anything to do with my survival, and it's completely in my comfort zone. I'm good. Work away. But what I do want you, what I what I do want you to bloody call. What I do want you to understand is that as soon as we want to create a life that we love, our old identity, our past identity wants to, or not just one, other identities. They're like they can mix and match and all that kind of stuff and can be good. As you already know, in the good girl, in the rebel, in the wounded healer. Like these identities, they can all play different parts in who we think that we are and the reality that we're creating. So what happens then is we set this big goal. We say, this is the thing I want to achieve. And you spend a week or two trying to get there. And then you're just like, this fucking just isn't working out. What is happening? So you'll do one of two things. You'll either say, manifesting doesn't work for me anymore. Or you will say, there must be something wrong with me that I can't do this thing. I can't create this thing. I can't manage it. I'm not capable of it. And this feeds into the identity. So what happens is that unknowing to us is that we are reinforcing those little stories and those little patterns that have already been created into our brain and saying, yep, my reality is true. I'm not enough. I'm not worthy. I must be broken. I don't belong. That like I'm not perfect. And that's how we reinforce the belief system that we are constantly creating in our unconscious mind. So this is where we go, okay, fuck that shit. But this is what I want you to understand. Whenever you decide that you want to create something, we're creating that idea, that ideal, that big dream and vision in our conscious mind. Then our unconscious will either go, yes, I'll allow it, or it'll go, that ain't happening. And the only other way that we can create this is connecting into our superconscious or our higher state of like intuition, are connected to source, whatever you want to call it. This is where, when you understand those three parts of ourselves, it's not just always going to be conflict. It's like our superconscious can be the referee. Also, we get to unplug from the identity, and we're going to go through that when we go into the 5 steps. But this is what I want you to understand is that whenever we are in our unconscious part of ourself, that is the place that is, our unconscious is past experiences, past beliefs, past identities. It is who we think we are and what keeps us safe. Then we have our conscious self, that is this thing, part of us that wants to thrive, that is always positive, always wants a positive outcome. And then we have the superconscious, our higher state and our higher intellect, which is the part of us that invents and creates. And it's not bad, it's not like good, it's like neutral. So that's why it becomes a referee. And so what needs to shift, and we'll talk about this on our training call, but if you think about, we were talking about tension, structural tension. So I want you to think about that this is your past and your identity, and this is your goal and your future. So this is what we've been doing all the time. We have been creating tension in the structure, but this structure is trying to fix ourselves, trying to manifest and change who we are. So this is our past, and this is everything that's come before us and handed down, and this is who we think we are. And this is our big vision, our goal, the thing we want to manifest. And the only way we can release the tension in this structure is that one of these have to give. So is it going to be your identity, or is it going to be your goal or vision, your future self? What do you think? So the chances are is that you're already doing it, and we start changing our vision. We start moving our goals. We start releasing the tension by saying, maybe I don't want 1 million. Maybe I'll go for 500,000. And after a week, I go, maybe we'll go for 100K. And after I go, none of this is working. I must be doing it wrong. I knew there was something that I was doing wrong, or maybe it's just, whatever is happening here is not right because there's something wrong with me. Okay. So I want you to feel into the ideas that when we're not manifesting, we're releasing the tension, but it's not our identity that's changing. It's the thing that we dreamed up. It's the thing that we want to actually achieve or experience or whatever, is that we negotiate this and we release the tension. Sometimes we get a little bit, and sometimes we're like, oh my God, this is amazing. But if we do reach this goal and we get what we want, it's very, very likely that eventually we lose it again. It all comes back into the space of, is it within your ceiling and your floor? Do we self-sabotage? Do we lose all the money? Do we fuck up the relationship? Do we sabotage it in some way? Do we say, you know what, this isn't what I wanted. I want something more. And then say the thing that we created was wrong in the first place, and we sabotage it. So I really hope this is working for you. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of a visual help, because I want you to understand, when we have done this for long enough, I really want you to understand is that even when we say, I'm creating something that I love. So I want a beautiful house. I want lots of money. I want to have a successful business. I want to create all of these things. What happens is, I want you to ask yourself, am I really choosing this from a place of love? Because if we have done, where's my elastic band? If we've done this for long enough and this keeps happening, the future self, our vision, and all that part of us that can be changed and is malleable, if we keep doing this, is that we start choosing from a different place. And what I mean by that is we start, now this might be back to front, I'm not sure, but I'll bring this with us for the Zoom call and I'll take a picture of it. So what I want you to understand is, this is point A, where you are right now. This is your current reality. Okay. This is B. This is your desired reality. This is the house, the money, the successful business, the relationships. This is everything. And when we're choosing from love, this is the direction that we go. We go, okay, I need to take some action and I need to move forward. So this is the step because it moves me towards B. But what happens if we've been doing the tension releasing and changing and tolerating and moving the goalposts so it fits more into our reality, is that we do it like this. I need to take a step that then tells me, okay, it's not got me where I want to because I'm not enough. So I need to learn more. I need to have a website in place to be perfect. I need to get flyers because people don't know who I am because I'm insignificant. I'm gonna have to talk to all my friends because I don't think I'm capable, and I don't trust myself. And so this is what we do instead. This is where we release the tension, but this is the self-sabotage because we're taking an indirect path to where we want to go. So this is what I want you to understand, is that when we say, this is the thing I want, I want you to ask yourself the question, am I setting a limitation on the thing that I want? So am I creating it from scarcity? Am I doing it because it's best for everybody and not just what I want? Am I creating it through this path of indirectness because of my beliefs, because of avoiding the resistance, because it doesn't feel comfortable going that way because that's not who I am? Am I creating this thing that I love with condition? Like, does it have to look a certain way? So this is where we get into perfectionism. Does it have to look a certain way? Does it have to happen in a certain timeline? If it doesn't look like that, sound like that, feel like that, it's not that. Am I choosing this thing from a reaction because I know what I don't want, so I'll go for this instead? And also the last one is, am I choosing from illumination? So this is just the best choice out of my perceived choices. So for instance, if I was to say, deep in my heart, I would love £1 million, dollars, whatever it is. But my choices are, right now, I might only be able to make 100K or 50K if I have a really, like, if things don't go my way. And then that's what we're choosing from. So instead of going, I'm going to ask for the million, I'm going to choose 50K or 100K because we feel like we're still choosing, but we're choosing with what our perceived choice of what we're capable of. Hopefully that makes sense. Again, if you've got any questions around this, I want you to write them down and bring them to the training so that you can ask the questions and we can talk about this and get, like, pull it apart so that your brain really gets it and really comprehends it, because our conscious brain has to get it before our unconscious brain gets to change it. Okay, so let's go through the 5 steps to create and magnetize what you love, to manifest anything, to get the biggest things that you really have been chasing for such a long time so that we can finally fix what is going on underneath, rather than thinking that it's us, that there's something is wrong with us. Okay, step number 1, choose what you'd really love. What is the desired result? What is the thing that you would really love to magnetize, manifest, create? Choose. Like, call it whatever it is that feels good and right for you. Step number 2 is, like, close your eyes, feel into, see yourself there, see yourself having it, see yourself enjoying it. What are the feelings? What is everything that you're going through? Like, colors, shapes, all of this stuff. Like, feel being in it right now. That desired reality is right now. You're feeling it in the imagined state. Because for something to exist, it has to be created twice. It has to be created in the invisible first, whether that's in the imagination, in the ethers, whatever, and then it gets created in our reality. So that's number 2. And then number 3 is create a tension releasing structure. And this is where everybody went, huh? And this is the part we're breaking down for you, as well as the unplug from your identity. These 2 steps are what we're going through today. So create a tension releasing structure. What that means is, let's look at our current reality and let's look at the desired reality so that we can create this without it being the identity in the past that doesn't change. All we're going to be creating, because your past and identity, when you're actually manifesting, goes out here and is, again, pulling even more resistance to make it more complicated, but let's keep it simple. Current reality, desired reality. And this is in the creation structure. This isn't in problem solving or fixing structure. This is it. This is in the place of, what do I want to create from love? From just because I want to experience it, just because I want to have it, just because I want to enjoy it. So current reality, desired reality. I want you to get a pen and paper. I want you to put current reality on the left-hand side, desired reality on the right-hand side, and I want you to write those things down. So your desired reality, I want you to write what those things are that you've just imagined in your head, whether it's the money, whether it's the relationships, whether it's a house, whether it's financial freedom, whether it's whatever. I want you to write all of those things down on the desired reality column. And I really want you to feel into the idea of, I choose the end result of this, and name them. Like, don't be shy. Don't be coy. Just fucking write them down. If there's something that you were doing, something that you were feeling, write those down too. Like, whether you see yourself wearing diamonds, whether you see yourself on a big boat that you've bought yourself, whatever it is, feeling joyful, feeling happy, having financial freedom, whatever it is. But you have to get clear. You need to get clear on what it physically looks like, what it intentionally looks like, how it feels, like everything. Write all of that down in your column for your desired reality. Okay, and then what I want you to do is, under the current reality, this is where you need to be honest, because up until now, it's very easy to just say, I want that. The thing in the future, the thing where I'm better, the thing where everything is good, the thing where I live happily ever after. Fuck Disney. But this is how we actually create this tension, because the universe wants to resolve the tension. It wants to get this released, and it wants to get you from here to here as quickly as possible in whatever way that it works. So this is why we're breaking this down. Okay, so your current reality. This is you being honest with yourself. This is saying how much money you've got in the bank, what your relationships look like now, what you don't have now, but because you can see what you do want now. This is like feelings that you feel, whether you're feeling stressed, whether you're feeling deflated, whether you're feeling frustrated, all of those things. I want you to write your current reality on everything that you are in right now. Again, exact same thing as what it looks like in the physical, how it feels like in your body, all of it. So then you have two columns of your current reality and your desired reality. So this is where I want you to really look at them, not judge them. This is where you get to just observe where you are right now and where you want to be. Okay, so I want you to just like zoom out, look at these two and go, okay, I can see that there's some differences in things, that how I want to feel, how I want to look, and all of this kind of stuff. That's all good. Okay. But I know you're feeling resistance because you're like, I can see a big gap here. I know that some things are going to have to change. And this is where you're going to start feeling them, because what you're going to do next is feel into the idea of, what is the next step I have to take? What action do I have to take? Where is my A to B? What is this bit here that I have to do that moves me in this direction? Okay, you're gonna feel resistance. You're gonna your head's gonna fill up with all the reasons why you cannot take this step, all the reasons why it's not gonna work, all the things that you've done before, because this is what our identity from our past does. And I'm gonna get you to start writing these down. So, excuse me. This is step 4. This is the unplugging from your identity. I want you to feel into and answer some of these questions, because this is going to help you unwrap the onion, start taking the layers off, so you can start to see what has been keeping you stuck? What is standing in your way? Why do you keep sabotaging yourself? So, first question is, what are you resisting? So, in regards to what are you resisting in going for it? What are you resisting in taking the action steps? How, like, does that resistance feel? And again, we're in this space of being honest and not judging it, but just writing it all down. So maybe it's because you've tried so many steps before. Maybe because you think people don't see your posts or your business or whatever it is. I want you to get really, really honest with yourself of what feels like you are resisting right now, taking a step towards the thing that you really would love to create. So take a few 30 seconds to a minute, jot things down. You can come back to this, okay? Then question number 2 is, how am I judging this? So this is, how am I judging the next action step? How am I judging myself? Am I judging the future me and the desired reality and desired goal? Because I want you to understand is that, how will other people judge me? That's a really good one. That will let you know if there's something else that's stopping you moving. That's the conditional way that we try to create things to keep everybody happy. And I really want you to understand is that if you're judging yourself or you think other people are judging you, you are judging them. Even if it's you're judging them, judging you, you're still judging as well. So, but this is good. We want to see what our judgments are because they're the things that are standing in our way. Question number 3 is, what are my inner conflicts around these two things? What can I see that, like, there's a big gap between them? It might be like, you know, consciously I know I'm a badass, but unconsciously I think I'm a nobody. It might be, I want to be rich, but my conflict is I think rich people are fucking shady arseholes. So write down, what are your inner conflicts about what you want to create, how you feel about creating it, what's standing in your way from creating it. Fabulous. And let's go to question number 4. How do I normally resolve the tension? What's this? What's my normal patterning? What's my normal behavior? If I feel a resistance, what are the other paths that I take? So this is what it kind of should look like on your page. So this is your current reality. This is your desired reality. This is the list of where you are right now. This is the things, all the things you want to feel and experience and want to create and love. This is you in the middle, that says, what is the obvious next step? Because this is taking the aligned action. What's the obvious step? This is where we plug into our superconscious and ask, what is my next step? Because if we have resistance, we can't do this. So this is why we're doing these questions, so that we can actually start to see what's in the way and we can start to break it down, and then we can step into the next step. So how do I normally resolve the tension? That might be you change the goalpost. That might be you talk yourself down with self-doubt. That might be you always defer your opinion to somebody else. It might be you decide that, oh, I don't know enough, so I'm going to learn this before I do the thing. We all have our patterns. We all do it in our own way, and you know what they are. Be honest with yourself, write them down, because if you don't see them, you can't change them. It has to be in our conscious awareness for us to change it on another level in our unconscious. Okay. So if you still are writing, I want you to pause the video and answer those 4 questions about your current reality and your desired reality and what you want to create. When you come back, this is where I want you to now look at these two columns, your current reality and your desired reality, and think about what needs to happen in the next action step. You don't have to know all the steps. That's not even possible, because if we knew all the steps, we wouldn't fucking do it. We would go, fuck no, that's too hard, that's too difficult, that's going to take too long, and we wouldn't do it. But there's other things that are already stopping us before we even get there. And that's what these questions will start to uncover. Then I want you to really feel into, now that you've like uncovered and like taken some layers off, I want you to be really honest with yourself and write down, where is my resistance on a scale from 0 to 10? So 0 is no resistance at all. 10 is like, oh my God, I have so much resistance in my body about this that, like, you know, what the hell was I thinking? And that's not wrong, because this is all about just checking in and going, like, how much resistance am I feeling about going from my current reality into my desired reality? Like, I want to be smart about this. I want to really check in and understand this, so I know what is going to not create so much resistance, so I can take that, at least that first baby step. Okay, so 0 to 10. What is your resistance around creating the thing that you want to create from love, and where you are right now? Has those answering some of those questions started to help you see what underlying belief or beliefs, what one of those list of wounds that is stopping you from getting there? Is it obvious yet? Have you seen it? Is it coming from a place of I'm not enough? Is it coming from a place of I'm not worthy? Is it coming from a place of I don't belong? Is it coming from a place of I'm not perfect? Is it coming from a place of I am powerless? Is it coming from a place of I am insignificant or invisible? I want you to just look at that list, and you probably know it inside out at this stage, but feel into, now that I'm looking at all of the resistance and unpacking this and the judgments and the conflicts and all the rest, what is the belief or story that is in my way? Because if you can see it, fucking brilliant. Amazing. Amazing. Because now you know something that you didn't know before. You're taking your power back because you're like, I fucking see it. This isn't about me. This is a fucking belief that was created in my past. Created in my past, and my parents' past, and my grandparents' past. Maybe even before that. So now that you're looking back at this, you probably know your belief. You see all your judgments, the conflicts, all the rest. I want you to look at your current reality. And I want you to look at, because your current reality has been created by your identity. The one you haven't seen, the one you don't recognize, the one you don't understand, the one that goes on automatic pilot. Can you look at that list that you have created under your current reality, and can you be okay with it? Can you neutralize the feelings and everything else that's going on? Because now you can see the judgments and all the rest. You can go, okay, I see it. I understand it. I get it. All the rest. Can you be okay with it? Can you neutralize like some of the resistance in regards to the emotional states? Because I want you to really understand that it was your identity that created this. So your current reality has been what has been running on automatic pilot, doing all those neural pathways that have been like created lovely deep grooves that it doesn't even have to think about. Just like breathing, just like your heart beating, has been created by your identity. Can you be okay with it? And can you acknowledge that it was created by you, because that's what your identity said was safe? Can you go, okay, yeah, I can see that. I can acknowledge it. I can understand it. You don't have to like it, but can you be okay with it? Can you also be okay with the idea that if you created this reality on automatic pilot under the radar, that you're also capable of creating this reality, because a reality is only created by your thoughts, your beliefs, your actions. And that's what we're doing, is we're changing these, changing them, the ones that created this that you were unaware of, into you starting to change your thoughts, beliefs, and actions to create this reality. Now that you see that that was all automatic pilot, that was created through fear, through experiences, through wounding, through, and we all have them. And this is what I really want you, this is how we really start to unplug from our identity, is we start to see them as patterns. We start to see them as beliefs, not necessarily just ours, but that they were handed down, that they were put into and plugged into our DNA and into our energetic systems, and that we are in our conscious part of ourselves, we know that that's not who we are anymore. That if we think that we have to continue healing and healing and healing, is all we're doing is reinforcing a belief and a wound that there's something broken in us, that we're not enough, that we're not perfect, that if I have to heal something, then something has to be broken within me. You've already done, if you're anything like me, you've already done years and years of healing. So how far do you have to go to say, I've done enough? Because I honestly believe that if you can do this, if you can create, imagine, understand, and know that something better is out there for you, then you are healed enough. Because we're not perfect. We're imperfectly perfect. But you're also enough, and you're also worthy of having an amazing life. And you deserve to have everything that you want, including money, including happiness, including financial freedom, amazing relationships, and all of the stuff. Everything that you can, like, you could have 10,000 pages of a desired reality, and you deserve every single one of them. The only person who tells you you don't deserve them is that old identity. And it's just because it's built in. Because as soon as we take shame out of it, as soon as we take blame out of it, as soon as we take guilt out of it, which are all just mechanisms that keep us in our wounded patterns, we neutralize it. We take it out. We're like, hold on. Because that identity, this is why we have to be okay with it. Because that identity that created this reality that I'm in right now, that got me here, where I want more, where I know I deserve more, where I know that I can actually become like even better. I can move into expansion now rather than staying in this ceiling and floor safe space. I needed it for that identity. I don't need it moving into a new identity. I really want you to get that. Healing has its place. Healing has its place in so many different levels, but we can get addicted to healing. And when we get addicted to healing, we're telling ourselves that we're not enough, that we are broken, that there is something that needs to be fixed, and that keeps us in this space. That keeps us in the space of, this is past me, and this could be the future me, but this future me can go anywhere and never really works out. But this person, this past me, this identity is strong. That's bullshit. Yes, you were strong, and yes, you are strong, but that person got you to here, and now you're smarter. Now you understand more. Now you're in a state of full awareness. Now you're in a place of betterment. Now you're in a place of expansion. And you get to change your identity along with it. We're not meant to stay the same. Look out in nature. Seeds grow into trees, into flowers. You know, animals have a certain life cycle, and none of us stay the same. We are always meant to evolve, and we're always meant to let go of the parts of us as we grow. Look at butterflies, look at dragonflies, look at snakes, look at everything that when it grows, it sheds part of itself, because it's like, I can't be this next version of myself with that part of me still as me. You're no different. So what I want you to, we're finishing up here now, guys. So I really want you to, if you have questions about anything that we're doing, come to the training call or post your questions and tag me into the Facebook group so that I can answer your questions on the training call if you can't make it. But what I want you to understand is that when we have neutralized all the kind of like resistance and like, oh my God, and our identity, our wounds, the belief system, when we neutralize these, when we answer those questions, when we look at them and when we look at our resistance and when we really feel into, okay, I created this, holy shit, that's good of me, but now I know I need to take steps to do yeah, from A to B. Then this is where you understand I can neutralize and unplug from my identity, just like we were talking about on last week's training. If you were to say, what if I woke up today and I didn't have a past? What would be my next step? Immediately, you'll know. Then do it. That's step number 5. As soon as you understand, as soon as you know, if you need to go for a walk, if you need to meditate, if you need to, whatever it is, to feel into what that next baby step is, do whatever it takes. But I want you to be doing this daily. I want you to do step 1, visualize your desired results. I want you to feel into step 2, feel into the feelings of, and say, I choose this desired result, and whatever it is, name it, what, all the feelings, all of it, and visualize it happening, coming to life. What are you doing? What are you, like, all of that, like we've already explained. And then feel into what's my next step. And if you feel resistance, you go straight back through all of this again, because it'll keep changing. Your identity is about keeping you in survival mode, and it'll keep throwing up excuses and reasons and old stories and old experiences. Go, remember this, what happened, and you fell on your ass and everybody laughed at you, and you go, so what? I'm still here, I'm still alive. I can take another step. Now on their training call, I'm actually going to take you through a visualization that will help you even to reframe and restructure even more so the belief systems and the identity. But right now on this level, you can do this right now. So what is the next baby step? And can you do it? Can you follow through? Can you say, yes, I can do it. I'm going to do it. Like if I feel resistance, I'll break it down and I'll look at it. But if not, let's do it. Let's see what happens, because it means I'm moving towards the thing that I want, the thing that I want to create, the thing that I want to like fall in love with, the thing that I can realize I can have my fucking power. So go do that. Plug into your desired result every single day. Go back into module 2, I think it was, and there's a meditation visualization at the very end of it. Go do that. And as I said, work on the resistance. Every time it comes up, what am I feeling? Is it 0 to 10? Okay, it's feeling a 5, right? Okay, why is it feeling a 5? Let me look. Am I judging myself? Is there a conflict here? What's going on? Write it down, because when we write it down, the conscious part of our brain can see it. Not the unconscious, but the conscious part goes, oh, fuck. Like, if that's what I'm feeling, geez, girls. That's okay, because it's not true. I don't even believe that anymore. And you take the next step. Tune in, take the next step. because soon enough, your resistance, you'll be going, oh my God, I feel resistance. I can't wait to go and find out what this is. This is going to be such a laugh. I'm going to really look into this. And if it's not a laugh and I go, fuck, then I know how to break it down. And then our training call, we're going to break it down even further. So I really, really hope this has been helpful for you. I really want us to be able to start moving from A to B and not going this direction, and reinforcing our beliefs and wounds and stories. And so, ladies, have an awesome day, and I shall see you on Thursday's call.